And I'm your host Himakshi Bahugna, and together we'll be taking up all your stock-related queries. So don't forget to WhatsApp us or call us directly. Viewers, both the numbers are flashing on your screens right now. And on the show, we are joined by Prashant Tapse, Senior VP Research Analyst, Mehta Equities on the fundamentals, and Virat, Senior Technical Analyst, Bonanza Portfolio on the technicals. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Very good evening to
Good evening. Now let's get started with the show's first query that is written to us from Chennai. Venkateswar Lu purchased 10 BSE shares at 4,644 rupees, and he's looking for a long-term outlook on it. He's asking whether he can hold the counter for 2 to 3 years. So Prashant, directing this question to you, what's your outlook on BSE?
Fundamentally, obviously, the outlook could be very much optimistic. It's a proxy play for investing in Indian capital markets or Indian economical growth. So I think in terms of valuation also, I think with respect to the earnings which they are now presenting right now in the Q4, those are presenting a long-term good growth. So I think my advice would be hold for long-term, at least with a target of almost 8,000, 8,500 from the current level for next 12 months. So overall, I think even the NSE is going to list very soon in a year or so. So there will be good comparison between NSE and BSE, and that would have a very long-term growth prospect.
Okay, got it. And now let's go across to our next WhatsApp query. Ulhash has written to us from Nashik. He currently holds 200 shares of Ion Exchange at 760 rupees a piece, and he is seeking a long-term advice on this particular investment. Now, Ion Exchange shares are trading around 557 levels, so that means it has significantly dropped from the price our viewer bought them at. Prashant, getting your fundamental perspective on this one, and then I'll also take a technical reading of this, but how does an Ion Exchange look on the charts, and do you see a recovery happen anytime soon?
See, if you see fundamentally the stock is into a great sector, which is into water management and wastewater treatment, recycling and all. I think that sector is a very fastest growing sector. A lot of stocks are now getting listed and they are doing very well. Ion Exchange, again, I think with respect to valuations, I'm still not comfortable to have a very positive outlook from the current levels. But again, I think with respect to the numbers and ratios, I think they are presenting very well. I think even one should wait for the Q4 earnings. Still, they have not been presented. Once the numbers are out, I think we can have a very clear picture of the long term. So I think currently my recommended would be hold, and if there are some additional capital, he can average the stock at current levels.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Prashant. With that, we have another WhatsApp query. Rahul from Hyderabad holds 100 shares of Power Grid. He purchased it at 299 a piece. So he's looking for, he hasn't mentioned the time horizon. So what's your sense on Power Grid for long term, Prashant?
With respect to power as a sector, I am very much bullish, and Power Grid is a proxy play for investing into power story in India. If he has a view of 5-10 years, I think this stock would give him a very decent return of 12 to 15% CAGR from the current level also. With respect to valuations also, I am very much comfortable trading at 15 PE and price to book value of almost 3x. So very comfortable to have fresh position as well as recommending hold from the current levels.
Okay, got it. And now we're being joined by Sumit on the phone line from Qatar, our first international caller of this evening. Hi Sumit, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for taking my call.
Most welcome. Please go ahead with your question.
Can I buy MCX for the next 2 years? MCX.
Okay, and why are you interested in MCX, Sumit?
Because I can see now the movement started earlier, it was going down. So I thought the market is stable now. Can I enter for 2 years?
Okay, okay. Let's see what Prashant has to say about it. Prashant, Sumit from Qatar is interested in knowing your perspective on Multi-Commodity Exchange of India. How does it look like to you? Being an exchange for commodities, do you think it is, an interesting time to also diversify your portfolio and go into equities as well as commodities? And from that perspective, how does MCX look?
You rightly pointed out, see, one should have a diversified portfolio. BSE is again a exclusive for equity, and we don't have NSE listed yet. So if you want to invest in the commodity, as because of the volatility we have seen from last 2-3 years, I think the exchanges will have a lot of business growth going with respect to the volatility. Again, valuation wise, again, very much similar to BSE, and the growth is also similar to BSE. I think they have done very well in terms of their Q4 earnings. So for me, again, for long term, every dip has to be bought. This price would not be a right price to have a full investment right now. I think a technical colleague can help him to get a right level. But for me, I think 5,800, 6,000 can be a good level to start accumulating for long term.
Okay, okay. And Virat, welcome back. Are you here with us?
Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you now.
Amazing, amazing. Viewers, Virat is joining us for the first time, and I'd like to very warmly welcome you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. Let's talk about MCX. We were actually talking about the fundamental story of it. If you have any kind of coverage, or have you been tracking MCX at all, if you could give us your view and sense of whether this is the right level to enter the stock or not.
So yeah, technically, if I'm technically speaking, the stock is broken out above its a key resistance level, which is 6,300 with this very strong volume. That's a classical bullish signal. Buyers are showing interest, and the price is staying above the breakout zone. I see good opportunity to buy at the current level for the short term, or you can consider for a medium term. Stop loss could be work as a 6,200. 6,200 could work as a strong support for the same, and upside can be seen near 7,000, 7,100. So it's a very right time to buy MCX.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Virat. With that, we are joined by a caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Raju. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Good evening.
Yeah, how can I help you on the show today, Raju?
Ma'am, Varun Beverages 600 quantity.
Okay.
Average price 550.
Okay.
2 months back buy, ma'am. Profit loss, ma'am. Consolidated, ma'am. Technical analysis, ma'am. Extra share add, more add, ma'am.
Do you want to add more is what you're saying, Raju? Do you
Ma'am,
want to
on the
accumulate more?
500 quantity extra.
Okay, so you already hold 600 shares and you wish to add 500 more shares to Varun Beverages, and you're looking for a short-term view on the counter, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. 9 months.
Okay, understood. So, Virat, on the technical front, what's your sense on Varun Beverages? How is it faring on the charts? And for somebody who wants to accumulate more, like 500 shares into the counter, so is it advisable to enter at these levels?
So the stock Varun Beverages is the trading in the sideways range with the no clear direction. It's a stuck between 560 to 470. So till the time you can wait, either you can accumulate somewhere near 470, or once it took a breakout from 560. So for the current price movement, you can hold.
Okay, understood. And now we have Sudesh calling us from Kerala. Hi, Sudesh.
Hi.
Please go ahead with your question.
I bought NMDC shares
Okay.
at 68. The quantity is 22,000. Can I hold? I brought it 2 days before. Can I hold or exit now? I am with a profit of 44,000. Can I hold or exit?
Okay, okay, understood. Virat, I'll take this one to you. Sudesh from Kerala currently holds 22,000 shares of National Mineral Development Corporation at 68 rupees a piece. He's sitting on a profit of about 2 rupees per share, thereby making it an aggregate of 50,000. He's asking whether or not he can book his profits. How do you see the momentum of the chart moving? Because it has seen cuts of about 5% in the last 6 months.
So if we talk about NMDC, we have observed a strong hurdle somewhere near 70, 70, 50. It's been a third time where we observed a rejection from the same area. So if it is unable to sustain above 70, 50, then you can sell the stock. Otherwise, you can hold this. Your next target would be 77.50, where your stop loss can be 67.5 could work as a strong support for the same. So you can maintain stop loss of 67.50 if it is sustaining above 70.50.
Understood. Thanks for that view, Virat. And with that, we are joined by a caller from Noida. Hi, Anmol. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. How can I help you today on the show, Amol?
Yeah, actually, I bought 100 shares of Amar Raja Battery and Mobility. And buying price is 1,450 rupees.
Understood.
So, and the stock was in correction for a few months.
Yeah.
And now it is gaining some momentum from last 2-3 sessions. So I just want to know whether it will achieve my old price in this current rally.
Understood. And for how long are you planning to hold these shares, Amol?
Yeah, few months, like short term, 1 or 2 months.
Okay. So, you know, our viewers are
At least I
welcoming.
will exit the moment I get the price, right?
Understood. Understood. So our viewers seem to be welcoming Virat. A lot of, you know, short-term queries on the show today. Virat, he's sitting on a loss of over 41,000 there. And so he bought it at 1450 levels. Currently, it's trading at 1036. So do you see any sort of uptick in the counter and reaching these levels anytime soon?
So after approaching 1700 level, we are observing a straight drop till below 900, and it is trading in the bearish chart setup where we are observing lower high, lower low formation. So if you are observing any sort of opportunity to get exit, it's my recommendation to get exit in the same stock, because it seems very it's a trading in a bearish chart setup, and we might see further downside till 900 or maybe below 900. So if you are finding any opportunity, then you can exit whenever you get the opportunity.
Understood. And Prashant, you know, talking about the fundamental aspect of it, is it advisable for viewers to hold this counter for long term?
I think one should understand there are two big leaders in the battery business. One is Amar Raja and second is Exide. And the difference between two valuations are very wide. Almost like Exide is trading at 40p and Amar Raja is trading at 20p. So that means there is some kind of issue with the business model in the near term as well as the historical numbers. So, but the numbers are showing very much decent with respect to their quarter-on-quarter earnings. But I think near term there will be volatility and pressure going on. I see again some kind of valuation pressure coming here because margins are not sustainable again, and there is a huge competition from the other unbranded batteries in India. So there will be pressure, but as a long-term investment, I think he can even add Exide into his portfolio, so there can be diversified two stocks in the same sector. But for current time being, I will avoid to have an additional buying at this point of time. If we can again buy back same shares in sometimes when it goes to 900 levels. So I think that would be a good level to start accumulating and hold for long term.
Okay, understood. And now we have Avdesh calling us from Chennai. Hi Avdesh, good evening.
Hi ma'am, good evening.
Please ask your question.
Ma'am, I want suggestion on Bharat Forge.
Okay.
Ma'am, as I know, it works in defense and aerospace automobile sector. And it has higher ROC, ROE, ROA, EPS growth higher than its competitor. So, ma'am, I want suggestion that can I invest in this stock for the long term, or any other suggestion in this sector?
Got it. I understand. Prashant, Avdesh from Chennai wants to know whether this is the right time to enter Bharat Forge Industries, and one of his key motivating points is the fact that it hails from the defense space, which has been on an attractive rally. How do you view Bharat Forge Industries' fundamental strength currently?
He's into defense, but not directly doing everything to the defense, to the government, but they are helping a lot of the defense companies with respect to some equipments and supplies. So I'm not so comfortable to have a very fresh long buying at this point of time. Again, with respect to valuation, still trading at a very high P. Historically, it has not traded at these levels. But I will like to advise him to wait and watch. I think he has done good work with respect to fundamentals, with respect to ratios. But again, with respect to P and price to book valuation, I would like to advise him to wait and watch. A good level would be anywhere between 550 and 560, which can give him a downside risk protection, and then he can take it for long term.
Okay, thanks for that view. With that, we have a caller joining us from Chennai. Hi, Venkatram.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. How can I help you today? I'm sorry, you're not properly audible, Venkatram.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes. Please go ahead.
So I'm holding shares of New India Assurance.
Okay.
So I bought it at 195.
Okay.
500 shares of 190 at 195. So I want to know whether I can hold for mid to long term.
Understood.
Like how will the prospects of the share be?
Understood. And why did you narrow down to this company in particular?
It was a fundamentally good company. I felt.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
So I'll
So
get
I
your
felt, yeah.
query. Yeah, I'll get your query answered. Prashant, directing this question to you. How do you view New India Assurance Company with respect to its peers? And also in terms of valuations per se.
The sector is really doing good. If you see last 1 month numbers with respect to life insurance data, I think HDFC Life has done very well, but LIC and other government life insurance companies are not doing great. Only because of the aggressive sales and all. So there is no aggressive growth in terms of AUM in both New India Insurance, General Insurance, as well as LIC Insurance. So I think one should avoid a PSU stock in the insurance space and look for private insurance companies which can give them at least a stronger growth going forward. So for me again, at this point of time, numbers are not growing, EBITDA margins are not performing well, even the AUM is not going very strong. If you see last 1 year where markets were so volatile and even markets had touched all-time high, this stock did not contribute anything in the markets. It's almost down by 23% in last 1 year. So my recommendation would be at least have a stop loss, then hold on the stock. Whenever you get a cost of your price, then think of exiting the stock.
Absolutely. Thanks for that view. And Virat, on the technical front, what are the key resistance levels on the stock that you can see on the charts?
So if we talk about the New India Assurance Company, it is forming triangle, symmetric triangle sort of formation, but the breakout hasn't happened yet, and it is in the wait and watch zone. Since the direction is unclear, I would prefer to hold until we get the confirmation breakout or the breakdown. Breakout will occur above 186, where 200 days exponential moving average is also placed. And from the for downside, we can see 166. If it is sustaining below 166, then we might see further downside in the same. So till the time we can wait.
Okay, understood. And now we have Adarsh. He is joining us on the phone line from Thane. Hi Adarsh, good evening.
Hi ma'am, good evening to all of you ma'am.
Good evening Adarsh. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Ma'am, I'm holding a stock of GMDC Limited.
Okay, okay.
I'm holding it 93 numbers at an average price of 348.36.
Okay, okay.
And ma'am, I'm averaging it from past 18 to 20 months.
Okay.
Ma'am, today it was 7.4% high, ma'am. Actually, just I want to know whether it is a right time to exit, or shall I accumulate, or shall I exit?
Okay, got it. Prashant, Adarsh from Thane currently holds 93 shares of GMDC at 348 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 355, and as Adarsh already mentioned, it was up over 7% in trade today, maybe also responding to its good Q4 numbers. However, he has been invested in this particular stock for the last 18 to 20 months. What do you think the next course of action should be?
With respect to the numbers, again, I think yes, the margins were really improved. The last quarter margins were around 14% on the EBITDA side, and now with the Q4 numbers were almost like 25%. So there is a good growth. If this kind of growth is sustainable going forward for 1 or 2 quarters, my advice would be hold again, because valuations are very much comfortable to advise him to hold at this point of time. Again, there should be a one stop loss as he is accumulating from last 20 months. He should not lose more. So I think the technical colleague can help him to understand the stop loss and then hold it for long term.
Okay, then Virat, that brings me to you. Could you recommend Adarsh with a stop loss on GMDC?
Yes, definitely. We have observed inverse head and shoulder formation in the same, where we can observe it took a breakout of the neckline. That's a bullish reversal pattern. So we might see further upside till 400, where the support can be seems near 330, where neckline is placed. So you can put a stop loss of 330 with the target of 400 and above 400.
Okay, thanks for that view, Virat. Now we are joined by a caller from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Raju. Good evening.
Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Hi, how can I help you on the show today?
Yeah, my query is regarding Bank of Maharashtra.
Okay, please go ahead.
I have 1750 shares at the price of 49.43.
Okay.
My query is about regarding long term. I want to know whether is it a good stock to hold in the portfolio for long term or not.
Okay, so Prashant, coming straight to you. In the PSU banking space, do you recommend, our viewer holding Bank of Maharashtra stocks, or do you have any other recommendations there in the similar space?
Now, with respect to sector, I am very much bullish on the PSU banks due to the RBI support with respect to all the credit which has been given to them. RBI push has already made this sector very lucrative right now. But again, Bank of Maharashtra, obviously, with respect to the valuations, not comfortable. They're trading well above, almost near to the SBI or Bank of Baroda valuation. So I think it's expensive at this point of time. If he has not yet bought, I think he can go for Canara Bank, which is a better stock with respect to valuations, obviously in the same space, or Bank of Baroda, which can be also a better space, a better stock in the PSU space. So both stocks looks good. Bank of Maharashtra, I think there is some kind of very much stable growth in terms of their quarter-on-quarter earnings. Even NPS are increasing slow and slow. So I think one can avoid Bank of Maharashtra and go for Bank of Baroda as well as Canara Bank.
Okay, so switch from Bank of Maharashtra, instead buy Bank of Baroda or Canara Bank in the PSU banking space is what Prashant is suggesting. And Virat, I'd also like to come to you on the technical front of it. How is it faring on the charts, and even in the, on the technical aspect, what stock recommendations do you have in the PSU banking space for short term?
So same as Prashant told you, Canara Bank seems very attractive at the current level. It formed a rounding bottom formation. It took a breakout of the same. So we might see further upside in the Canara Bank. If we talk about Maharashtra Bank, so Maharashtra Bank, it is trading somewhere near 5160, where it is stuck between the broader range. On a higher side, we have observed 52.50 level, and on the downside 45.7. So both the 50 days and 200 days exponential moving averages are flat, which means there is no strong trend. The stock is not giving a buy or sell signal currently, so I would suggest you to switch to the Canara Bank.
Okay, understood. And now we have Sundeep calling in from Bengaluru. Hi, Sundeep.
Hi, everyone.
Please go ahead.
I have Adani Energy Solutions, 40 shares bought at around 880. Actually, I burnt my hands to the same share earlier, but now I want to try my luck. Can I hold it for some time, and is there upside in the near or medium term? I'm happy to hold. Okay, got it. Virat, I'll come to you on this again. Sandeep from Bengaluru currently holds 40 shares of Adani Energy. At 880 rupees a piece, the stock has climbed to 913 odd levels and has also seen 5% moderate gain in the past 6 months. From a short-term perspective, what would you recommend Sandeep to do?
So on a technical perspective, I would like to say you can hold the stock because it recently took a breakout of a consolidation phase where we have observed that 975 level worked as a strong hurdle for the same. And the breakout occurs with the volume. So it's a price volume breakout, which may lead to 1200 level, and support can be seen near 930 level. So you can hold this position for the target of 1200.
Okay, thanks for that view. And just a small disclaimer for our viewers that NDTV is a subsidiary of AMG Media Networks, which is an Adani Group company. And with that, we are joined by a caller from Bengaluru. Hi, Sandeep. Good evening. I'm sorry. Venkat is calling from Chennai. Hi, Venkat.
Yeah, hi.
Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah, this is regarding share Nalco. I'm holding 420 at the rate of 179 for short term.
Okay.
Can I hold it? Yeah, can I hold it for next 3 to 4 months?
Okay, so you've bought it at 179. Currently, it's dropped to 177. But Virat, I'll come straight to you. How is Nalco faring on the charts?
So Nalco is trading in a downward moving channel, and same way when it is going down, the volume were increasing. When the up move are coming, there is very low volume, which is indicating that the investors are not that attractive for the stock, or they are not very much, what should I say, very confident about the stock movement. So it's better to get exit from the stock whenever you got the opportunity. I would recommend to sell on rise, use sell on rise strategy where you can take exit somewhere near 190, 195. It would be the great level to get exit.
Okay, okay. And now we have Devraju calling in from Mysuru. Hi, Devraju. Devraju?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
So CDSL 100 quantity, one average price 1,200. Profit in 20,000. Profit seller hold, ma'am. Shorter 9 months, ma'am.
Okay, okay, got it. Virat, Devraju from Mysuru currently holds 100 shares of CDSL at 1,200 rupees a piece. The stock did gain, in fact, it closed with a 5% higher price at 1,400 odd levels, and it has performed well given how domestic and international, domestic and geopolitical international cues have sort of improved in this week. How do you see such stocks like CDSL that come from the capital market space performing, and what would your 9-month target be if that's possible to give?
So we have observed a strong rally today in each and every financial broking companies, and CDSL is a part of financial services. So we have observed a very good momentum in CDSL BSE as well. For CDSL, I would like to suggest technically it formed a cup and handle formation, which is a bullish continuation formation. The breakout is clean with a good volume. So technically it's a good setup, and I would recommend to buy, or you can accumulate at this level. You can add this. You can add the stock in your portfolio, or you can hold if you have. So it's a good buy for the CDSL. You can see further upside to 1600 and 1800. Where support can be seen near 1300. So risk reward is also favorable. So my recommendation is to buy CDSL.
CDSL and a favorable risk reward. And viewers, we'll have to slip into a short break, but keep sending in your queries on WhatsApp as well as call in. We will be right back for Ask Profit only on NDTV Profit. So stay tuned.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
welcome. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit, and I'm your host Himakshi Bahogna. Along with me is my co-host Malika Mishra, and together we'll be taking up all your stock-related queries, viewers. So please don't forget to call us. The numbers are there on your screens. And with that, let's go across to a caller joining us from Mumbai. Hi, Mithun. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, how can I help you today?
So I'm holding a stock named Zentech.
Yeah.
I bought in around 2018
Okay.
at around 160 rupees.
Okay.
And I'm holding 1,000 shares.
Yeah.
And I'm a long term. I'm having a vision of long term.
Okay.
So
Firstly,
I just want a view on it.
Yes, please go ahead.
And if I'm not wrong, it to up 2000. The high was around 2,600. But I didn't sell. But currently it is now at around 1,700, between 17 to 1,800.
Yeah.
So still it is worth holding.
Okay. Okay. So firstly, congratulations, Mithun, on making such great profits there. And Prashant, the stock actually reached 2,600 levels and now it has dropped to 1,795. So I'm sure he must have made even, bigger profits there. So what advice you have for Mithun? Should he stay invested, or, should he patiently wait for the stock to reach those levels again?
I think patience is the one key success ratio for all the long-term investors. But again, one should understand why the stock has come down from 2,600 to again 1,400 and then recovering back to 1,794. There were 2-3 investments which the company has done into a different space where I think there is a lot of time to get some profit out of that business. So that was the one reason why market did not like, and suddenly there was a good crash in the stock price. That was a great opportunity for many investors, but again, his cost is very much low. I think he's almost a 5-6 year old investor because the price is 160 around. So, but I think I will advise him to hold it for more than 3 to 4 years from the current levels. And right now, the company is into almost like defense, supporting defense sector, training of defense, personnel and all, and even there are some kind of drone investments which the company has done. So they will fetch out a lot of profit going forward. And I think if you see last 5-6 days, the stock has been on the upper circuit. So that shows there's a lot of interest from the investors to hold this stock, and they were willing to buy more even at this point of time. So I will advise Mithun to hold this for at least 2 to 3 years. I think there can be a good target. Even there is a high possibility of getting doubled from the current levels.
Okay. And Prashant, I'd just like to clarify something, especially because we're noticing that a lot of viewers are asking questions about these defense companies. My simple question to you is that when the kind of interest that we're seeing currently is because of our environment and whatever has been pushing up and igniting the space. Do you think this momentum is going to be sustainable and it is going to go higher? Or do you think there would be some kind of correction or moderation coming in later in most of these stocks? Also, do the valuations look comfortable to you or not?
See, one should understand, this sector was some kind of lagging from at least first quarter and second quarter of last financial year. The reason was like there was no growth, there was no margin improvements, there were no such kind of delivery which was shown by the defense stocks. But suddenly, if you see Q4 earnings, a lot of companies have done a great, spectacular numbers with respect to their profitability. Some stocks have grown by 2x in their profits. If you see Cochin, I think they have delivered double profits, double EBITDA, and even double EBITDA margin. So I think the execution is started right now in the Q4, and we are in the right point of time where we are seeing the equipments getting the efficiency test in the live India-Pakistan war. So defense as a product, the world is watching right now, and I think the presentation, the capabilities of the defense stock which has been given to the Pakistan in the war, so that will bring up a lot of interest from the investors, as well as lot of export kind of potential opportunities can bring into these defense stocks. And even Indian government would like to expand its investments in the defense stocks. So all these rationals are giving a lot of confirmation of the medium term to long term growth. Near term, there may be some kind of profit booking attempts due to valuations. You rightly pointed out, few stocks are trading almost 120 times P, and few stocks are trading almost near 40. So in this space, you need to be a choose and pick right now. Don't get into high valuation stock because of these environment right now. But I think for long term investor, 3 to 5 years, every dip has to bought.
Okay, okay. Thank you for that clarification, Prashant. And now we are joined by Suresh from Hyderabad on the phone line. Hi, Suresh. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. I am currently holding Adani Green.
Okay.
Around 100 shares at 899. So I am having around 13%. I am 13% profit. But today there was a breakout where I am seeing it has been consolidated and it breakout and it's closed around 5%, and it is closed around upside. So can I use this momentum and add some more stocks, some more quantity in Adani Green, and what is the outlook for short term and medium long term? Short term, I am looking for 3 to 6 months, and long term, I am looking for 1 to 2 years.
Okay, okay. Suresh, I'd just like to confirm your buying price. Did you buy them at 699 rupees or 899?
No, 899.
Okay, 899. Okay, okay. Very well. Then Suresh from Hyderabad currently holds 100 shares of Adani Green at 899 rupees a piece. The stock is trading around 1024 odd levels and was up in trade about by 5.5% or even more than that. Now, Prashant, I'd like to come to you on this one first, because we have seen an attractive performance, especially with regards to how the stock has climbed in the past 1 month. But before that, it had been undergoing some kind of pain. Do you see Adani Green Energy's momentum currently and the gains that it is currently feeding into its stock price? Will that be sustainable for a long time? And what would you recommend our viewer to do with his investment?
The stock will be, in the volatile zone going forward also in the near term, due to its valuation, and even as soon as something goes wrong with the market in the selling pressure, so I think the stock also reacts very badly in the negative side. Being the group company of Adani, again, you have seen the stock or the other stocks have been very volatile from last 2 to 3 years. So that volatility, that expensive valuations will continue to be a hurdle for these businesses. But again, I would like to advise him the numbers are really good. I think the numbers are been presented very good in the quarterly earnings. That is giving some kind of lot of interest, even though the valuations are expensive. So for me, with a stop loss, he should hold it for a target of 1200 plus.
Understood. And just a short disclaimer for our viewers, NDTV is a subsidiary of AMG Media Networks, which is an Adani Group company. With that, let's go across to a caller joining us from Andhra Pradesh. Hi, Mansingh. Good evening.
Hi, ma'am. Very good evening.
Yeah, how can I help you?
No, I have one question about that again.
Mansingh, I'm afraid you're not audible.
I'm holding cash of 1 lakh rupees, madam.
Okay. Okay.
I have selected 2 companies, madam. NCC Nalco Constructions and from power sector, Danish Power, madam. I want to know the
I'm afraid you're not properly audible, Mansingh. What are the companies' name? Can you please come again?
Danish Power, madam.
Danish Power, all right.
And NCC.
And NCC, understood.
NCC.
Okay, okay, okay. So, are you a long-term investor, Mansingh?
Yes, ma'am, long-term.
Okay, okay. So, Prashant, coming to you, he has a corpus of 1 lakh rupees and he wants to invest in Danish Power and NCC. So, what suggestion do you have for Mansingh?
Danish Power, I think it's a very recently listed stock. I think there's a very limited financial parameters to understand as a fundamental. But again, if you see last one or two years financial numbers where the ratios are really good, I think ROC is almost more than 40% and ROE is more than 29%. So such kind of ratios gives a very strong business outlook going forward. But again, valuations are still slightly higher than the other power businesses. With limited knowledge about the company, again, I think I will avoid this to comment on aggressive buy zone. But again, if the stock comes down to at least 900 or 850 levels, that can be a good level to start accumulating more for long term.
Okay, okay, understood. And also, Virat, I'd like to get your view on NCC because our viewer was interested to know about a short-term or long-term outlook on that one. So how does NCC look on the charts?
So NCC looks very attractive at the current level because it took a breakout of the range where it was stuck between 225 to 200, And additionally, we can see that the MACD crossover is happening on the daily chart, which is usually a momentum shifting to the it's a momentum shifting indicator, which is showing that in near future we can see further upside. So combined with good support base below with a good risk reward, I would like to suggest buy at the current level where you can put a stop loss of 200 and for the target of 300. So it's a good time to buy NCC.
Okay, good time to buy NCC. And now we're being joined by Nilay on the phone line from Patna. Hi Nilay, good evening, namaste.
Good evening.
Please go ahead.
I would like to know about Vendit India.
Okay.
It's always closed today and I purchased at 8,360 rupees. 8 shares only.
Okay.
So what is the prospect for this?
Okay.
Because it has been a sudden downfall in this share.
Yeah, that's true. Virat, Nilay from Patna wants to know about Vent India. I'm not sure how to pronounce it properly, but the stock price has halved since Jan of 2025. I would simply like to ask you, when do you see this recuperating?
So the stock has broken below the strong support zone, which was placed somewhere near 9,500, and currently it is showing a very good volume when the stock is moving down, which is indicating that the distribution is happening in the stock, which may result into the further downside, where we can see further support somewhere near 7,800. So we might see further downside. So I would like to tell you to sell this stock and switch your position.
Okay, thanks for that view. Now let's go across to a caller joining us from Bhopal. Hi Tushar, good evening.
Ma'am, good evening.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I actually have a query on SBI share, which I am having at the price of 791, 20 shares.
Okay.
And ma'am, I wish to add at this level. Ma'am, can I add it more? And just wanted to know about short-term view and long-term view.
Okay, and how many shares are you planning to add?
Ma'am, almost around 200 more.
Okay, so you already hold 20 shares, planning to accumulate 200 more shares in SBI. Prashant, fundamentally we all know that SBI is a very strong company, but in terms of valuation, it's pretty high compared to its peers. So what's your sense on the counter, and are these the correct levels? On the levels, I'd like to go to Virat, but firstly, on talking about the fundamental aspect of it, what's your sense on the counter?
Very positive again, with a view of at least 12 months from the current levels. We all know the S-Bank deal has been done recently, and the profits which SBI is going to do, it will be booked in Q1, so that will have a very positive impact on the Q1 earnings. So for me, again, 820, 850 can be a short-term target, and long-term I'm very much bullish on the stock. There can be a 950, 920 target for next 12 months. So overall, being a leader, I think even it's a leader in the housing sector as well, housing loan sector. So I think next 1 or 2 years, housing sector would like to grow very faster than any other sector in the financial market. So SBI and HDFC Bank, they are almost covering 60 to 70% of the loan book. So very positive on the PSU, the two on SBI.
Okay, thanks for that view. And Virat, like I was talking about, the valuation front of it, and also the entry levels. Are these the elevated levels according to you, or these are the correct levels to enter or to accumulate more? Or for a fresh investor, for a new investor who wants to invest in this counter, are these the correct levels to enter?
So I would like to tell you that this is not the correct level to long, because we have observed a strong hurdle of a trend line. We are observing a downward moving trend line, and it is facing the hurdle of the same. So it's been a third time it facing the same rejection. So till the time it is not sustaining over 830 mark, I would like to tell you that you can wait and watch. If it is sustaining above 830 mark, then we can see further upside till 920, 1000. But if it is unable to do so, we can see further downside till 767 and 20. So for the time being, you can wait. Once it take a breakout of 830, then you can enter.
Okay. And now we have Ashok joining in on the phone line from Hyderabad. Hi Ashok, good evening.
Yeah, hi.
Please go ahead.
Evening. Can we take an entry in Nalco Pharma in current level, or is there any other alternate pharma stock?
Okay, and Ashok, why are you interested in investing in a pharma stock per se?
with this Trump pharma tariff tension, pharma stocks came down. I have been observing Acto Pharma. It has been consolidating in the same level from the month of February.
Correct.
And due to some negative news, it came down from 1300 to 800 odd level. And so at some point of time, it will be digest that negative news and it will go up. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm feeling that Acto Pharma is consolidating in the same range. That is one point, and another one is like with this Trump tariff, pharma tariff tension, these all pharma stocks came down, like Sun Pharma also.
Yeah.
So once that got cleared out, again it will be start moving upside. So for that, like I'm thinking to take an entry in the pharma stocks for 1 to 2 years.
Okay.
And I have been observing Sun Pharma from the levels of 1,000, which has been going up.
Right.
So,
Right. I understand. Prashant, I'll come to you on this one first. I would like to know your sense on the pharma space. The pharma space sectorally has seen a bit of weakness recently, and as our viewer already pointed out, all of this largely because of uncertainty around the space, fueling from Trump's tariffs, looming fears on the space. Ashok from Hyderabad currently wants to know whether this would be the right time to enter Nalco Pharma simply because the price has corrected, and from February onwards we saw a sharp fall and it has been consolidating since then. When do you think the price could go back? Because that's what Ashok is betting on. And is there any other counter in the pharma space that you would be highly positive on?
No, right. Ashok has rightly pointed out that the stock has underperformed. Even the sector has underperformed from last 2-3 months, and we all know the reasons very well. So I think the sector is almost near the bottom. I think in very few weeks or few months we will have some kind of settlement with respect to the tariff on pharma, and no country will have take any risk on not having a high tariff on the sector, which is life saving and to helping their population. So I think pharma as a sector, I'm not expecting any big tariff, but there will be very normal kind of tariff hike. But again, recently Trump has also said that he is expecting a lot of price cuts with some 80 to 50% from the current level. So because of these concerns, overall sector is under pressure and waiting and watching for the right final rate for the pharma sector. But again, Natco, we should understand Q3 numbers were really bad. Almost 30 to 40% of EBITDA was down. Even 30% PAT was down. That was the reason why the stock has drastically fallen from the 1,000 levels, 1,200 levels to almost like 750, 780 levels. That was one reason again. So if we need to see how the stock will perform, so Q4 earnings should be mostly wait and watch. If Q4 earnings recover the margins which they were doing it earlier, so I think the margins were almost near 45 to 50 levels, and Q3 numbers almost we saw 8% EBITDA margin only. So there should be some kind of uptick in the EBITDA margins, then only the stock will see some kind of positive action. So overall, if there is an alternative stock, I like granules very well at this point of time. Even Divi's Lab looks very, very good at this point of time.
Okay, thanks for that view, Prashant. Now we have Harish joining in from Chennai. Hi Harish, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, please go ahead with your query.
So I'm holding Amber Enterprises.
Okay.
So actually, just wanted to check how much will be expecting its Q4 results.
Yeah.
So and technically also it crosses 200 DMA. Wanted to check on like the target price and how will it go on a short term.
Okay, because I can see that you are sitting on a very significant loss of over approximately 4.5 lakh rupee. Okay, I'm sorry. It was, no. It is, you are sitting on a profit of 2,000 is what I can see. Earlier it was incorrect. Okay, so short-term outlook on Amber Enterprises. Virat, coming to you. Firstly, how was it faring on the chart? Secondly, what are the key support and resistance levels in the near term?
So Amber Enterprise looks very attractive at the current level, as we are observing the primary trend is quite positive. Same way, secondary trend is also positive. On a minor trend, we are observing some sort of profit booking, or we can say some sort of correction, where we have observed 8,000 level and now it is trading somewhere near 6,400. It is continuously taking support somewhere near 2,200 exponential moving average, which is indicating that the stock is still in a bullish momentum. So we might see further upside in the same where 7,000 and 7,500. could work as a resistance, and support can be seen near 6,300 on an immediate basis. And if it is falling below 6,800, further downside can be seen till 5,900. So overall risk reward is quite favorable, so you can bid on the buy.
Okay, got it. And now we have Amit joining in from Patna. Hi Amit, good evening.
Good evening.
Please go ahead with your question.
My query is regarding Star Health.
Okay.
Which I have 50 quantity with the average price of 675. So I want to know what should I do with this? Should I add on or should I exit?
Okay, and when did you purchase these shares, Amit?
Like post-COVID, I thought it was a good sector to go in, health insurance. I think 2 years back, but it is not doing well.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to know what is the future for this.
Understood. I understand your concern. Prashant, Amit from Patna currently holds 50 shares of Star Health at 675 rupees a piece. He entered the stock post-COVID thinking that insurance would be a beneficiary of the dire need of the country at that time. But although it is a necessity even today, why is the insurance being such pain? Even LIC came up with disappointing numbers. Star Health again not doing very good on the charts as well. What's adding pressure on the space?
Yeah, I think I already discussed the pressure in terms of sales. I think that there is private companies are doing very much aggressive sales, and they are marketing very well with very unique products which have been introduced in the markets. Star Health being a very small company in the space of health insurance, I think still struggling a lot to get up some kind of productive or very innovative products in the markets. Despite having a very bad numbers in the March earnings, the stock has really done in the recent times. That means again a lot of valuation comfort level comes into every mid cap stock companies again. So I think with respect to that, again I would advise him to hold it. Again, obviously he's making some losses, but again be a medium term to long term investor. At least you will get back your cost first. But if you want an alternative stock, I think go with Navi Bupa. I think that would be a great premium stock in the health insurance, growing very fast, aggressively growing its AUM very fast, and having very innovative products. So if you have an alternative option, to go with Navi Bupa and then hold the stock for long term.
Okay, thanks for that view, Prashant. Now we have a caller joining us from Delhi. Hi, Mr. Agarwal.
Hi, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
मेरे पे 1500 शेयर हैवेल्स इंडिया के हैं।
ओके।
400 रुपए में 2016 में खरीदे थे।
अच्छा।
लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टर।
जी।
पॉइंट मुझे सब हेल्थ इशू के लिए जरूरत पड़ सकती है।
ओके।
I'm 63 years old, थोड़ा बीमार रहता हूँ। Otherwise, I want to continue or replace it. What should I do?
ओके, एंड फर्स्टली कंग्रेचुलेशंस मिस्टर अग्रवाल, आप इतने अच्छे हैंडसम प्रॉफिट में बैठे हुए हैं, तो आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई। एंड मैं आपकी जो क्वेरी है वो बिल्कुल अपने एक्सपर्ट से पूछती हूँ और आपको वो बिल्कुल अच्छे से जवाब देंगे। एंड प्रशांत, इफ़ यू कुड जस्ट एक्सप्लेन टू मिस्टर अग्रवाल whether he should be booking his profits at these current levels or should he stay invested, and also I'll request you to speak in Hindi so that he's able to understand.
यस, मुझे लगता है जब पैसे की जरूरत होती है तो ऑब्वियसली आपकी जो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट है वहां से थोड़ा सा प्रॉफिट बुक करके, जब भी कोई नीड होती है घर लेने की या हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस की या हेल्थ के कंसर्न के लिए, हॉस्पिटल के लिए, इसको यूटिलाइज करना ही चाहिए। नहीं, मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ा मीडियम टर्म में ये स्टॉक थोड़ा सा नीचे आ सकता है। आई थिंक यहाँ से 1400-1450 तक भी आ सकता है, तो एक बेटर ऑप्शन है। एटलीस्ट 20% ऑफ द स्टॉक यहाँ बेच के प्रॉफिट बुकिंग कर सकते हो, प्लस थोड़ा सा जो आपका मेडिकल नीड है वहाँ पे यूटिलाइज कर सकते हो। बट मैं लॉन्ग टर्म के लिए बहुत बुलिश हूँ। जिस तरीके से ये FMEG बिजनेस है, मुझे लगता है बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग ग्रोथ करेगा, वैल्यूएशंस बहुत कंफर्टेबल है, रेशियोज भी बहुत अच्छे हैं और ऑलमोस्ट मार्केट लीडर है। तो आई थिंक लॉन्ग टर्म होल्ड करना चाहिए, बट जब भी नीड आती है तो थोड़ा थोड़ा प्रॉफिट बुकिंग करके उसको यूज करना चाहिए।
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Prashant. And we're now being joined by Venu from Vizag. Hi, Venu.
Yeah, hi. I bought Anup Engineering shares around 50 shares at 3,200 level. I bought it just before the results day, but the results was not expected as expected, and it's and on the day it went down to around 8% in a negative.
That's correct.
So can I hold it? I'm looking for the short term. So can I get my price in next 1 to 2 months?
Sure. I think Virat will be the best person to answer your
question Venu. Virat, Venu from Vizag currently holds 15 shares of Anup Engineering at 3,200 rupees a piece. The stock has fallen to about 2,999 odd levels, and it's interesting to see that from November of 2024, it has made it has been making a modest wave, on the charts. So, with such a range-bound trade in the picture, what should Venu do, because he's sitting on a loss at the moment?
So, if we talk about if technically, I would like to say this that after a strong rally, we have observed a consolidation, which is a healthy behavior. You don't need to rush into selling or buying off anything. You can just hold the stock as the stock is performing very well. It is not breaching 200 days exponential moving average, which is indicating a very positive sign, where we have observed a strong correction in the overall market. Almost major of the stocks started trading below 2,200 days exponential moving average, and it is still holding the stock, still holding this level. So I would like to say you can hold this stock. On the downside, you can put your stop loss of 2,775. Further upside can be you till 3,750. So it's a good stock you can hold.
Okay, thank you so much for that comprehensive analysis on Anup Engineering, Virat. But with that, both Prashant and Virat, it's a goodbye from our end. But thank you so much for joining us this evening and answering all the questions with such patience. We will see you again. And viewers, a quick note to you: you can keep sending in your queries on WhatsApp, and we're live on with Ask Profit on the channel both in the morning as well as in the evening. So call us then. But also stay tuned to NDTV Profit, as Profit 360 lined up a fresh bulletin for you right on the other side.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims? Know Your Company, powered by NDTV Profit Research, shines a light on the biggest stock market movers.
Headlines you start your day with. What matters worldwide is now in the palm of your hands. Get ready to seize the day and maximize your financial potential. Stay ahead of the curve with all you need to know on NDTV Profit.
Do you really know the company you invest in? What is the real picture behind presentations and claims? Is the outlook as rosy as the company claims?
Indices outperform the main indices among sectors. Media, power, PSU, realty, capital goods indices up by 1 to 1.7% in the markets today, while the IT index down nearly 1%. A day after Vodafone Idea files a petition for a 30,000 crore waiver in AGR dues, sources tell NDTV Profit that the company has warned the government that any threat to operations would lead to duopoly in the telecom sector and will have direct and far-reaching bearing on 200 million subscribers. Amazon reportedly gears up to bring Project Kuiper, its satellite internet service in India. The company has reportedly approached the Department of Telecommunications seeking authorization to offer broadband services via satellite in India. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says any financial assistance provided by the IMF to Pakistan is no less than terror funding and urges IMF to reconsider. This comes a day after a fresh $1 billion financial assistance program was approved for Islamabad as part of its bailout package. Singapore Telecommunications says it sold around 1.2% of its stake in India's Bharti Airtel for $1.54 billion. Singtel, which has been an investor in Airtel for over 20 years, said its stake would drop to 28.3%. The Indian Premier League 2025 season kicks off its 18th season on Saturday with Kolkata Knight Riders facing Royal Challengers Bengaluru at Eden Gardens, Kolkata. Zelensky speaks to Trump after Moscow and Kyiv sit face-to-face in Istanbul for the first direct peace talks in 3 years. Russia and Ukraine agree to swap 1,000 prisoners of war each in the coming days, one of the largest such swaps since the conflict began. Good evening, you're watching Profit 360 on NDTV Profit and I'm Sanjana. We're going to bring you the latest on markets as well as national and international news. So let's get to our top focus this hour. A day after Vodafone India was pleading for yet another bailout in the Supreme Court, sources have told NDTV Profit that Vodafone Idea claims it is facing severe financial distress, putting its operations at risk of collapse. Sources also adding that Vodafone Idea has told the government that a shutdown or any disruption to operations would disrupt services for 200 million subscribers and that liquidation wouldn't fully recover its debt, potentially causing huge losses to both consumers and banks. My colleague Sesa, who's been tracking the story very closely, now joining us on the phone line with more details. Sesa, we see, these sources, this information coming in just a day after a third plea was filed in the Supreme Court. Take us through the details.
Right. So, just 2 months after this second lifeline, Vodafone Idea has again raised survival fears. Now, in its petition to the government, to the Supreme Court, Vodafone Idea has said that any threat to Vodafone's operation would lead to duopoly in the telecom sector, leading to anti-competitive practices and significant price hikes for consumers. Also, it has said that with no bank funding, its survival remains at risk, and any disruption in services will have a direct and far-reaching bearing on 200 million subscribers. It is also argued that liquidation of Vodafone Idea would not really lead to full recovery of the debt, and the liquidation route could also cause huge loss to the banks as well as the consumer interest. Now, remember, Vodafone Idea is taking a waiver of dues worth over 45,000 crore, and it owes 12,797 crore in the principal amount, while the interest amount is about nearly 29,000 crore, and the remaining 6,000 crore and 11,000 crore respectively is the penalty and the interest on penalty. So the court is likely to hear the matter on Monday, and we need to see, what exactly the court decides.
Absolutely. Vodafone Idea's endless bailout cycle. Thanks so much for that, Sessa. And these are the concerns that have been raised by Vodafone Idea to the government. Let's remember, this is the third such bailout that we're seeing, rather the bailout plea. What we saw earlier was dating back to 2019, when the Supreme Court basically upheld a ruling insisting that non-core expenses need to be brought under the company's AGR, and that's when the financial troubles started for Vodafone. By 2023, Vodafone had already appealed to the government, and the government bailed it out. Then we saw once again that take place back in March, and now again, as of yesterday, in the Supreme Court, this plea actually happening. So this is just some of the details that we're giving you. On October 19, the Supreme Court mandated telecom operators include non-core revenues in AGR calculations, triggering massive dues for Vodafone India. And right after that, we saw in 2023, we saw that the government did in fact bail out Vodafone for the first time. This was around 6,133 crores of interest dues in equity under the 2021 relief package, taking a 23% stake in Vodafone. Why are we doing this then? Right, this is in fact a critical timeline of the entire thing. And let me now quickly go across to my guests that are joining me this evening. I have Piyush Pandey that is joining me. And Aditya Shah on the phone line. Aditya is the founder of Hercules Advisor, and Piyush Pandey, Telecom Analyst, Centrum Broking. Aditya, I'm going to come to you first. Vodafone Idea's latest plea seeking a waiver. It says 30,000 crore, but we're looking at a number that's closer to 45,000 crore, citing an 83,400 crore AGR liability alone. And given Vodafone Idea's Q4 loss, its negative net worth, can it realistically survive without perpetual government support, or is this plea just delaying an inevitable collapse?
So good evening. Vodafone, if you look at Vodafone Idea's balance sheet, the balance sheet is really very stressed. Vodafone Idea has about 2.5–3 lakh crores of debt. And on top of this, the AGR dues. And on top of this, the business is not doing too well. The company is losing subscribers, as well as the operational loss that the company is really reporting. So from that perspective, what is really happening is losses are mounting, subscribers are going away, and on top of it, the AGR dues are coming in, and the bank does not, and the operator does not have any new money to put into the network. So net failure of the company is just coming. It was just kicked down the road when the promoters infused some capital. But Vodafone Idea is in a very precarious position, and the government needs to see if it can help or some other operator can take over Vodafone Idea.
Right, Aditya, stay with me. Let me also bring in Piyush Pandey, who's joining me right now. He's a telecom analyst with Centrum Broking. Piyush, we've seen, Vodafone Idea's argument that waiving interest and penalties is critical for its survival. And does this then set a risky precedent for other telecom operators who could potentially be seeking the similar relief?
Apart from Vodafone Idea, only Bharti Airtel has certain amount of AGR dues, and Jio has hardly any dues. So I would say, see, for other operators, it's hardly a matter of big concern. But for Vodafone Idea, I think a part of their dues, especially interest and penalty on the AGR dues, can be waived off by the Supreme Court. There is some chance, and because currently Vodafone Idea is mostly engaged in rolling out its 5G network, and that is taking a huge amount of funds. So I would say, apart in the absence of any government relief, some sort of waiver, it will be very difficult for Vodafone to survive. Maybe survive more than say 1 or 2 years.
So then, if Vodafone Idea is arguing that without relief, the telecom sector risks the collapse, but it still lost 1.9 million subscribers in Q1 in 2025, are the warnings of a sector-wide failure credible, or is this, can we look at this as a tactic to pressure the government, given that competitors seem financially stable?
You see, I would say this is a serious concern because for a country like India, it needs to have at least, I would say, 4 players. 4 players, because in the absence of Vodafone Idea, we would have just 2 players, and that can lead to significant tariff increase. Plus, I would say, in the absence of competition, it can also impact customer service and innovation. And also, I would say, like, if Vodafone Idea goes down, government would also lose, like, say, for example, the value of its stake would go down to 0, and also whatever the license fees it makes from the telcos as part of revenue sharing mechanism, that would also go down to, like, say, basically nil. So I would say, if Vodafone Idea goes down, everybody would lose. Consumers would lose, industry would lose, as there will be less competitions, and even government will lose because in the future there will be less takers for the spectrum as part of auctions, and also perhaps, like, say, these license fees also would mean, say, lost by the government. So in a way, net, it makes more sense for Vodafone to survive. It would be beneficial for, I would say, all the stakeholders.
Right. Aditya, if you're still with us on the phone line, Vodafone India's market share has dwindled. So can they now compete with the others without massive tariff hikes?
Impossible to do so. I don't think there is a way out for Vodafone Idea. In my opinion, over the last 12 to 24 quarters, Vodafone Idea has been consistently losing market share. On top of it, there's no new investment in network, in 4G and 5G capabilities. So I think that down the line, the solution for this is, as Tata solved the Docomo problem, Birlas need to solve the Vodafone problem. Birlas need to take on the liability of the company. And once the liability of the company is out of the balance sheet of the company, it can be sold over to a Airtel or to a Jio per se. I don't think there's any other solution other than this for Vodafone Idea. The company is really struggling. And if the company does not halt operations today or tomorrow, somewhere down the line, we are just kicking the can, because the company is in a severe problem with respect to business, with respect to balance sheet, with respect to everything that the company is doing. So in my opinion, tough times for Vodafone Idea.
Shah and Piyush Pandey, thank you so much for your perspective and insight this evening. All eyes definitely on that very urgent and crucial hearing that will take place on Monday in the Supreme Court. This is as Vodafone grapples for its survival and has in fact requested an urgent hearing in the Supreme Court on Monday, requesting a third such bailout, the second in this year alone. Moving on, let's take a look at how the markets fared today. Markets ended flat in a choppy session today, with the Nifty holding just above the 25,000 mark, down 42 points. The Sensex closed at 82,330. Realty and media stocks led the gains, while IT and pharma saw cuts. Harsh now joining us with the detailed market roundup for the day. Harsh, over to you.
Well, it's another absolutely flat day on the index. A slight negative bias, if at all, but we've held 25K, which is the big positive. A bulk of the action was actually broader markets. Let's look at the advanced decline on the broader markets first before we talk more about the Nifty. The breadth was extremely favorable, and therefore you saw good traction both within the Nifty mid cap and small cap. That's what's generally implied. 1.5% move on the Nifty small cap, which has moved up 5% this week. The Nifty mid cap also has done fairly well for itself, nearly 4% up this week. The Nifty 50 though, through the week has had a decentish run, 2.5%. So that's how it's all played out, but definitely weak in which all three indices have done well, but broader markets have clearly outperformed for today as well as for the week. In terms of stock-specific action, today belonged to largely the defense and the realty space. Those were two pockets which were buzzing. The defense, railways also within that PSU basket did very well for themselves. Defense stocks up 6%. They were up 14% for the week gone by. Railway counters like RITES absolutely buzzing in trade, 8% higher. RVNL also, RVNL 8% higher. RITES 10+% higher, so strong gains seen in that pocket of trade. When you're looking at the loser within the Nifty pack, it's Airtel which stood out, with Singtel obviously offloading some bit of its shares, but 3% lower only for Airtel. That's how it played out. IndusInd was the other one in focus, but the stock made a full recovery and closed near the flat line at close of trade today. Other sectors which were in focus were the realty sector, up 6% through the week, has had a phenomenal run again through this week. And then you had IT stocks which were in focus, which were the key laggards in trade, which pulled down the Nifty 50 at least among the large cap pocket. And that one also saw some bit of pressure, nearly 1% lower on the Nifty IT index, but it was still up 3.5%. Thanks to the phenomenal move that it made on Monday. But that's how it's played out both the day as well as the week.
Thanks, Harsh, for that roundup of not just the day but the entire week. Let's take a look at fund flow. Foreign institutional investors recorded their second largest single-day equity purchase of the year, net buying at 8,831 crore worth of Indian stocks. Meanwhile, domestic institutional investors bought 5,187 crore worth of equities, reflecting strong investor confidence in the market. And let's take a look at what's happening in the telecom sector now. The Department of Telecom is expected to clear Amazon Kuiper for its satellite internet launch, marking a major step in India's expanding broadband ecosystem. Industry sources suggest Kuiper may adopt a trial launch strategy similar to JioFiber, allowing users to test services before a full-scale rollout. Let me quickly bring in my colleague Aishwarya with all of the details.
Well, satellite communication has been the buzzword lately, with Starlink applying for a license as well as it getting a letter of intent issued by the Department of Telecom. Following in line on that path is Amazon Kuiper. What we're learning from our sources is that the Department of Telecom is likely to issue Amazon Kuiper a letter of intent followed by Starlink very, very soon. Now, Amazon will be bringing, just like Starlink and Airtel and Bharti Enterprises, OneWeb, high-speed satellite communication services to the Indian market, and this will of course mark their debut. Amazon Kuiper also has the second biggest capacity in terms of their satellite constellation network, which is about 3,200 satellites in the low Earth orbit that will provide high-speed satellite internet services in various markets, including India. Now, Kuiper, let's talk a little bit about their Earth stations and what their devices will look like when that will be operational. Kuiper is likely to be fully operational in the next 18 to 24 months, is what people familiar with the matter have told us. They're also considering trial packages during their introductory or launch period, just like JioFiber did initially introduce us with free devices. And also they may be considering or assessing different heavy discounts on these packages when they do start their services in India. Like I mentioned earlier, the company plans to launch over 3,200 satellites, making it the second largest capacity. Starlink has about 6,000, over 6,000 satellites, and that makes it a SATCOM company with the largest fleet of satellite constellations there is globally. So that's what Amazon Kuiper's devices and ground network will look like. They're also finalizing over 7 locations in India to build their ground stations or earth stations, also called as gateways. In India is what, and they've also identified certain locations. This is what we've learned from our sources so far as Amazon Kuiper's India debut is concerned.
Right, thanks so much for that, Aishwarya. And more news coming out of the telecom sector. Singtel has sold a 1.2% direct stake in Bharti Airtel for around $1.54 billion, earning an estimated profit of $1.4 billion. Now, the sale was carried out through its subsidiary Pastel, which sold 71 million. Now, they sold 71 million Airtel shares at 1,814 rupees per share. My colleague Somit now joins with more details.
When it comes to Bharti Airtel, it was Singtel, which is the co-promoter of the company, which has sold close to 4.76 crore shares in the company via block deal. Now, the floor price for this deal was set at around 1,800 rupees, which was at a discount of around 3.6%. But this block deal has happened in the range of around 1,821 rupees to 1,827 rupees. Now, again, the lock-in for the buyer for this deal is around 60 days. JP Morgan was one of the brokers of this deal, and post this deal, Singtel's holding in Bharti Airtel directly and indirectly would come down to around 28.3% as against 29.5% earlier.
Moving on, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has reiterated India's firm stand against terrorism and nations that support it. Addressing the issue of hybrid and proxy warfare, he sent a strong message to the global community, especially in light of the IMF's financial assistance to Pakistan. Here's what he had to say on India's evolving defence doctrine, terror financing and the continuation of Operation Sindoor.
भारत यही चाहेगा कि IMF पाकिस्तान को अपनी $1 बिलियन की असिस्टेंस पर वह पुनर्विचार करे और आगे भी किसी भी तरह की सहायता देने से IMF परहेज करे। भारत नहीं चाहता जो फंडिंग हम IMF को करते हैं वह डायरेक्ट या इनडायरेक्ट किसी भी तरीके से पाकिस्तान या किसी भी देश में टेरर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को बनाने में वह इस्तेमाल की जाए। हम नहीं चाहते। साथियों, अब यह स्पष्ट हो गया है कि पाकिस्तान में आतंकवाद और वहां की सरकार का चोली दामन का संबंध है। स्टेट और नॉन स्टेट एक्टर के बीच का नकाब अब पूरी तरह से उतर चुका है।
Now, the IMF has approved a fresh financial aid package of over $2 billion to Pakistan. While the IMF says the money is meant to stabilize Pakistan's economy and support climate resilience, India has raised serious concerns. To